Jay, and in today's tutorial we'll be working on this gorgeous herringbone baby blanket. The blanket is worked in a corner to corner stitch and they're made in blocks and joined as we go. So the finished measurements of this baby blanket is 32 inches wide by 40 inches long. Now, if you decide to go ahead and use a worsted weight with this blanket instead, you're going to get a little bit bigger blanket. So if you want a bigger blanket, that's a good way just to switch that up. Use worsted weight yarn with maybe a 5.5 or a 6mm hook, and then you'll end up with a bigger blanket without having to alter the pattern. Okay, so the first step is making our first square. So if you look at your graph, in your bottom right hand corner, you'll look at the square and we have 6 across the bottom in the blue. We only have 5 in the white. So this is our first square and everything is going to build off this square at this point. So I have all of these colors that I'm using. So I'm using Mary Maxim DK Mellow Spun, and it is a really nice soft yarn, perfect for a baby blanket. And this color, let me see, is dark aqua. Also using Robin's Egg, Periwinkle, light gray and dark gray, and then white is the main color throughout. A 4mm crochet hook. And this is my Furls Odyssey turquoise hook with rose gold. So I'm going to begin with white. So we'll make a slip knot and put it on the hook. We'll begin by chaining 6. Now I'm going to work a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook, a double crochet in the 5th chain, and a double crochet in the 6th chain. And there's my first block. We'll chain 6. And we're doing the same thing in the 4th chain from the hook. We're working a double crochet in the 5th and in the 6th. Now we're going to flip up the first block and we're going to slip stitch into the chain 3 space. Chain 3 and then work 3 doubles. Okay, so now row 1, row 2 has our 2 squares, and for every row we're increasing, we're chaining out 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we'll work a double crochet in the 4th chain, a double crochet in the 5th chain, and in the 6th. Flip our work, slip stitch into the chain 3, chain 3, and in all that chain 3 space we're working 3 double crochet. And slip stitch in the top of the chain 3, chain 3, 3 doubles. 1, 2, 3. So now continue this until we have 5. So just chaining your 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and complete across. And I'll meet you up when I have 5. Finishing up now with my 5th block. And I'm going to yarn over with the periwinkle. So now we'll chain 6 and work a double in the 4th, a double in the 5th, and a double in the 6th. So the 6th block is in the blue because The blue, like I showed you at the beginning, we need to have the 6 blocks. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to work down the same way we've been doing. So just go ahead and work that and I'll meet you at the end. Okay, so we're coming up to the end. We're slip stitching and chaining 3 and then work your 3 doubles. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have 6 now. And now we'll begin our decrease pattern. So we'll no longer be chaining 6, we'll chain 3 instead. 1, 2, 3, and turn. You can also slip stitch across, but I just prefer the chain 3 method. We'll slip stitch into the chain 3, then we'll chain 3 and work 3 doubles. So that is our corner now made. Okay. And I'm going to work back across and then I'll meet you at the end to show you how to finish off your decrease. Okay, so now when we're getting up to our last block here, we just want to slip stitch into it and make that corner. So that corner is now made. Now we'll chain 3 and then that just gets us over to this space. Again, you could slip stitch, but the chain 3 I just like a little better. Okay, so we're slip stitched in. So now we chain 3 and we work our 3 doubles and we're just completing this now the same way until we're down to our 1 block. Just keep working across. When we get here, we just slip stitch up into that corner. So I'm going to complete my block now and then I'll meet you up again. So I'm finishing off my final block. We're going to slip stitch and fasten that off. Okay, so this is now how it's going to look. You really need to look at your graph to make sure you're doing this correctly. So we know now our next 6 are going to be in white. The remainder will be in our robin's egg. Okay, so let's take a look at the graph. I just put a piece of paper so you can really see each of the boxes, how this works. So here's our first box. All of our squares along the bottom are 6. Okay, so each is 6 squares, and our blue here has the 6 and our white has the 5. So we know now our white will have 6 and our robin's egg blue here has 5. Now we're going to alternate where we're joining as well. So we want to make this triangle next, okay? Because we can either join in this corner or this corner. So if we join in this corner, our triangle would go this way, which is not going to work for us, right? We want our triangle to go this way. So we need to join up in the top. So for this block, we're going to be joining on in this corner, making the blue, and then increasing up to 6 to make the white. Now when we get to this side, if we joined here, we would have a triangle going this way, and we want the triangle going this way. So we need to join down at the bottom to create this triangle first and then decrease. So it's going to alternate like that. So we join up here, we join down here, we join up here, we join down here, and so on. So that's how this row is going to work. So I'm going to show you now how to work by joining here and doing our robin's egg. So you really need to just follow along with your graph to see what you're doing as you join as you go. So I have my robin's egg here. I've already worked this to make sure it worked okay. So I've just rolled off my little pieces for my colors. So we're joining up in the corner, and you could leave those ends in before you move on. That's up to you if you want to do it as you go or do it all at the end. So let's pull through with our robin's egg. And we're going to chain out 6. Working back in the 4th chain from the hook. In the 5th chain. And the 6th. You just want to pull this here to tighten that up. Okay, so now we're going to slip stitch down here to join it. Now we're going to chain 3. And we're going to slip stitch between the next section of our blocks. So we'll slip stitch over here. Now we're going to turn our work so we can work back in the chain 3 space we just made. So we'll chain 3, work 3, double crochet, we'll slip stitch to join, chain 3, and work our 3 doubles. So there we now have 2, and we're increasing again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Double crocheting back to the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th. So we just do this part the normal way. We're slip stitching, chaining 3, working across. Just working through it quickly because you should be familiar now with how to do the corner to corner. So we'll slip stitch here. And it's actually really easy to join these up as you go. And I mean, all of these blocks could be made and seamed together, but this way you're going to have less weaving, and it's so clean putting them together this way. I just really love this join as you go method. So now again, we're wanting to join down. So we just find the space between the blocks, slip stitch to join. And then we chain 3 and go over between the next block and slip stitch. Chain 3, can turn, and then we're working back into that. See how simple, and it's such a great finished look when you join these as you go. Okay, so I'm going to keep working that until we get back down here again. Okay, so I'm finishing up down here at my 5th block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, when you look at your graph, I know my blue here is the 5 and my white is the 6. Because always your square, one is going to have 6, one is going to have 5. Okay. So we're going to yarn over with white. And then we're going to slip stitch. Just pull your tails, tighten that up. We'll chain 3 with the white and slip stitch down into the blue. Chain 3, turn, work 3 doubles. And now we're just working up the same way, finishing up at the top so that we have 6 white blocks. So complete that. Okay, so now if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we have 6, so we're done increasing. So now what we're going to do is chain 3, turn, and we're slip stitching down. Okay, so we're making that corner right here. We're not chaining 6, we're not increasing. We've made the corner. We'll chain 3, work 3 doubles. Okay, slip stitch down into the next block, chain 3. Okay, and continue working across. And remember, when we get down to the end here, we're just slip stitching in to keep that straight edge going along there. Okay, so now we're just slip stitching, chain 3, turning, going across, and slip stitching down into the chain 3, chain 3, and now we're working our 3 doubles. So we're decreasing now every row till we only have 1. Okay, so I'm going to continue now working that, decreasing it right down, and then I'll meet you up and kind of show you how it's looking. Okay, so I'm just finishing this up. I'm going to slip stitch, pull that through. Okay, so this is the bottom. I've got lots of tails to weave, so you can take your time and do that. Now see how nice this is all going to join up and come together. So let's take a look again. So we've got the first 2. Now we have our triangle going this way, meaning we need to join. If this helps you, your tip of your triangle is where you need to join. So here is our blue, we'll join in the top. When the point is here, we join in the bottom. So we're joining down here this time. So now we're bringing in the dark gray. So now this one will work a little bit different because when we work along the bottom, we are working 6, and then we have to, the white is only 5 this time. So it'll be worked just slightly different, almost the same, but just follow along, you'll see. So we're going to join in here. And we'll chain out 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll work in the 4th chain from the hook. And we need to flip it up here to join it. Now, this time, it's a little thicker along here, so instead of going right down into the space, I'm just going through, kind of anchoring it into the stitch right here when I slip stitch. Okay, and now I'm chaining 3 because we need to get over to the center of the next block. And see how it's thick here too? I can anchor that stitch right in there. And then we'll chain up 3, turn, and we're working into that chain 3 space. So just like we did the other one, it's working very similar, except I'm placing my stitch, kind of anchoring it. And we're having to increase this time up to 6 blocks in this color. Okay, so chain 3, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll chain up 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Working into the 4th chain. 5th and 6th. Slip stitch. I'm going to try to work through this fairly quickly. get over to the join as you go. Slip stitch, 1, 2, 3. And again our join, so pull those apart, just sticking, whoops. Just kind of anchoring it between that stitch in the center, chain 3, going over between the next block. And this is just going to keep the edge really nice and clean. Chain 3 and turn. So I'm just going to keep now working that until I get up to the 6, and then I'm going to meet you up again because this is just repetitive here. Okay, so I'm finishing up here with my 6 block, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this time I'm not changing the color right away because I want to chain over with the gray so you don't see. It blends right in. So now when I slip stitch, I want to pull through with the white. So now we're starting the white. Okay, so we'll just pull that through. I'll chain 3. And then work my 3 doubles. Give those a tug. And then we'll slip stitch, chain 3. So that's really the only difference, is you just want to think about that when you're going across. We wouldn't want to change and then have white going across here. We want to keep it in the gray and then have the white starting there. So now we're working that decrease pattern, so we're not increasing anymore. So when you get across to this side now, we're just slip stitching because we want that straight edge going across, okay? So you can just continue now in this manner. I'm going to finish this one up just so we can see the 3 blocks together. But the rest of the row is just repetitive now. We're working. We'll join up in this corner next time, down in this corner the next time, this corner the next time, and so on. Okay, so I'm just finishing off my corner. And now we can fasten off. Okay, so this is how it's looking. And so you can just continue working across, follow along with your graph, and you can find that on the blog. And then what I'll do is I'll meet you up to start our next row. And things are really going to start to kind of take shape here as we go up into the next row and start getting these long sections. Okay, so I've been working away on my bottom row. So I'm all the way over here. And I'm going to show you how to start your next row. So we're always going to work from the right to the left when joining, and that will just make things consistent here throughout. So let's take a look at our graph. And if we cover up that first row, so if we take a look at our next box, which would be right here, we have our white and our gray. So what we want to do is we want to join down in this corner to make this triangle. So we're joining here to the corner of our blue with the white. So we're going to join right here. And we'll chain up 6. And now we'll work in the 4th chain. Okay, and we're going to slip stitch down in between and then chain 3. And then slip stitch, chain 3, and then we'll turn and work our 3 double crochets. Slip stitch, chain 3, and then chain up 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and work in the 4th, the 5th, and the 6th chain. Okay. So we're going to just continue down in this method. And so you also can see here that the white is the 6. We're doing the 6 because it's running along the bottom here. So that's another important thing. You want to look at how you're creating your box and just which color has how many blocks in total. Okay, so I have my 6 blocks worked, and now I know that I have the light gray that I'll be adding on. So I want to get across, so I'm going to chain 3 in the white. And then I'm going to pull through with the gray. And chain 3. So now we're doing the decreases. So this makes our corner. And we're working across. And we'll be finishing up by just slip stitching into this corner. So I have my 5, and then I've just chained 3 to work across to keep this straight edge. Chain 3 and then work my 3 doubles and just keep decreasing this every row. Okay, so I'm going to finish that up and then we'll look at how we're going to make the next square. Okay, so now this time we're going to be joining both sides as we go. So it's going to be a little bit different. But first off, we want to take a look again at the blocks. Okay, so if you remember from the first row, we have to look at how our triangle is going and where to join to make sure we get that triangle worked correctly. If we join down here, our triangle goes this way. We join up here, our triangle goes this way, which is what we want. Here is our white one going that way. Okay, like this. So we'll be joining this for the white, and then when we do the blue, we'll be joining down here. So it's white and robins for this one. Okay, so I have my white yarn. We're going to join up in the corner. One, two, three, four, five, 6, and then working in the 4th chain. The 5th, whoops. 5th, and the 6th. And then we're slip stitching down here between our blocks. Chain 3, slip stitch. Okay, I'm going to anchor that one in there, and chain 3. And we'll work back. So this is pretty repetitive to what I've already shown you. So I am going to skip ahead. Just finish this off. Now our white is only going to be 5 and our blue will be the 6 because it runs along here. So I'm just going to continue my white and then I'll meet you up. Okay, so on this last block we're going to change to robin's egg. And then we need to slip stitch. Chain 3. And slip stitch, and then we'll chain 3, turn, and work 3 doubles. And then we'll slip stitch, chain 3, and we'll just work all the way to the end. Okay, so we're finishing up at the top with our 6th block because our robin's egg has the 6 blocks and the white the 5. So now we want to chain 3, turn, and slip stitch across because this is now our corner. Chain 3, and then work our 3 doubles. And work all the way down, and then I'll meet you up at the end. So we're coming to the end and I need to slip stitch, but I'm going to slip stitch through, I'm going through from in behind. I'm going to slip stitch through here and then through this block as well. Then I'm going to chain 3. And I'm going to slip stitch again, and I want to go through here, going from in behind and here. Then we'll chain 3 and turn. Work 3 doubles. And work all the way across. Now why I'm getting you to slip stitch from in behind is so that we don't see, it hides more that edging on the right side and keeps it to the wrong side. But I'll go through it with you again on our way back down. Okay, so I'm coming down again, and instead of going through the front for slip stitching, we're going in behind, also going in behind, and we're joining. Chain 3. Okay, so slip stitching again, let's put the blocks together and going through this block and slip stitch that. So this is how it's looking on this side, and you can see it creates a little bit of a ridge, and that's why we're wanting to keep that to the wrong side of the work. So now I'll chain 3, turn, okay, so again, we're going to slip stitch. We're going to join these ones up. So we'll slip stitch through here and through here. And then we'll chain 3. We'll fold these ones together, go through the top and the top, and finish joining that up. Okay, so then you can see how that's gonna look. And you can see how this side, it has a little bit of a ridge going across. So make sure that when you're slip stitching, you're just following my directions to keep that edging to the back of the piece. And this will keep our right side looking great throughout. And if you want to take a look at our next block, we're going to be doing white here. So we're needing to join down into this corner, and it will be a 6 block. Okay, so let's join down it here into our corner with our white yarn. And we'll chain 3. We'll slip stitch here, chain 3 and turn. So let's make our first block. And then we can slip stitch up here to join it. Chain 3. Chain 3, turn. Slip stitch, chain 3, 3 doubles. And then we'll slip stitch, chain 3, slip stitch. So we're just really joining it all as we go here. Chain 3 and turn. Work 3 doubles. Chain 3, and then we're slip stitching again, and we're just repeating this until we have our 6 white blocks. Okay, so I'm finishing up my 6th block. I'm going to slip stitch, and I'll chain 3 to come over the top with white. Now I'm slip stitching, but I want to pull through now with the green to finish that off. And chain 3, Give those a tug to tighten them up. And then I'll work my 3 doubles. So we're making our corner now. And now we're working down with 5 green blocks. Okay, so I have my 5 green. We're just slip stitching to make the corner, chain 3 and turn, and slip stitching. And now we're just decreasing this. So nothing new, no joining at this point. We're just going to keep decreasing it and then fasten off once we finish the last corner. Okay, so that's how it's looking now. And for our next square, the white again will be here and the blue down here. So we're basically now doing a repeat of these 2 squares as we join them across. So you can go back and rewatch this video if you need to refresh how to do this join as you go method, and just make sure when you're slip stitching across the blue that you're going from in behind to keep the rough edge to the wrong side of the work. So the rest of the blanket is just repetitive at this point. So when you finish this row, go back again and start at this row and just follow along with your graph for your color pattern. So I went ahead and finished the border on the blanket. So the blanket is all complete now, and the border is really simple to make. All you'll do is join, see our boxes here where I've joined in. So with your right side facing, you're going to join between any block on the blanket. It doesn't matter which one. So you're going to join in here with a slip stitch. You're going to work a single crochet in this stitch between the blocks here. You'll then chain 2, work a single crochet between the next blocks here. Chain 2, work another single crochet, chain 2, and you're just going to keep doing that all the way around. Now when you get to a corner up here, what you're going to do is in the corner of the block, you're going to work a single crochet, a chain 2, and a single crochet all in the corner. And then you're going to chain 2, work between the blocks, and continue all the way around. So it's really simple, and it makes your edge so nice and clean when you're going over your different colors. The white you don't notice, but as you can see, just doing those single crochets between the blocks, you get a nice clean edge. So that's what we do for round 1 of the border, and you are still using your 4mm crochet hook. So now we're just going to do, you could actually make this border as big as you want, but I did a total of just 4 rounds, just a simple finished edge. So now what you're going to do, when you get all the way around, you're just going to slip stitch into the first single crochet wherever that was, slip stitch to join, and then you're going to chain 1. You're going to work 1 single crochet in that first single crochet stitch. Then you're going to work 2 single crochet in that chain 2 space that we worked right here. So you'll work 2 single crochet, then you'll work a single crochet in the next single crochet stitch, work 2 single crochet in that chain 2 space. And that's what you're going to do all the way around. Now when you get up again to the corner, in that chain 2 space of the corner, you're always going to work a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So you're doing that all in the chain 2 space, and that's going to make your point here that you want, okay? So do that, work all the way around, slip stitch in your first single crochet to join, and you want to do a total of 4 rounds in total. So you can complete that. When you're finished, you just slip stitch to join, fasten off, and weave in your ends, and that's all there is to it. So now if you want to go ahead and make your border thicker, go ahead and do that, but if not, it looks great just like this. I made this blanket as a gift for my new nephew, and I wanted to do something else to add to the gift, so I made this sweet little koala lovey. So I'm gonna have the pattern for the star blanket also on YouTube, and with the purchase of the pattern, you'll get the video tutorial to make the head, the ears, all the little pieces to put the little koala together. So I'll have links for all of this in the description box. And I also made one with the pinks and purples just to kind of show you another color option. You could easily switch up the periwinkle and the dark aqua for the pink and purple, or any real combination, and they all actually look really good. As just, I wanted to give another color option here for you. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tap the bell to stay updated on new videos and tutorials.